As a continuation of the variation of Batmanimation, this video explores Justice League Unlimited, the 2004 to 2006 animated series that lasted 3 seasons. So it's not unlimited then, is it? That title is a direct violation of the Trade Descriptions Act. Though in its defense, the title Justice League, limited to 3 seasons from 2004 to 2006, would be quite hard to squeeze onto a VHS or DVD cover. As my video's title implies, well, actually explicitly states, my top 10 episodes will be discussed. Apologies are issued in advance for any and all predictable choices, as the list begins with The Cat and the Canary. Green Arrow and Black Canary attempt to convince Wildcat to retire from his pursuit of cage-fighting superpowered criminals. They never tried to stop me doing that, I wish they had. Clear, considered characterization is conveyed within an intriguing, original, intimate Fight Club setting that emphasizes drama by confining characters and the show's versatile nature by justifiably, fleetingly featuring several costumed heroes and villains. In an approach punctuated by several gripping fight sequences, unpredictable, enriching narrative shifts, psychological examination, and a genuine, subdued, investing romance. The episode's only flaws are that the way Black Canary discovers Wildcat's pursuits is slightly overconvenient, and that Green Arrow sounds older than Wildcat, even though the latter's advanced age is something of a plot point. For the man who has everything. This adaptation of Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' namesake comic book story shows Superman trapped in an idyllic, lifelike hallucination, thanks to supervillain Mongol's use of powerful extraterrestrial plant life. This imaginative plot allows for a fine balance of thrillingly aggressive superheroic action and cerebral, sensitive character drama, in which Superman's emotions and personality are examined with affectionate relatability and daring measures of appreciable tragedy. While legitimate tension unfolds in the plot surrounding Batman and Wonder Woman's battle with Mongol, certain characters feel vaguely underdeveloped in ways that prevent the potential for pathos from ever fully being reached, even though said pathos is clearly present, though ultimately the episode's primary intentions are successfully met regardless. Another criticism is the fact that being so closely based on an existing story means it offers less originality than some other episodes. My third and final misgiving lies with the episode's name, For the Man Who Has Everything. It isn't true. I've extensively watched Superman media and have seen no indication that he owns an air fryer, so that's another trade description violating title. Epilogue. In a futuristic Gotham City, Terry McGinnis, the current Batman, consults a senior Amanda Waller after learning of a troubling secret regarding the elderly Bruce Wayne. This crossover episode serves as a distant Batman Beyond finale and provides positive character development, particularly in the form of Amanda Waller's journey, elegantly enlightening dialogue, and attentive, engaging story structure that caters to the appealing cyberpunk elements of Batman Beyond, the extensive fantasy elements of Justice League Unlimited, as well as the energetic, superheroic action and pensive drama of both shows, utilising them and moments of honest, challenging emotion as means to creating a coherent, valuable tale. A seemingly somewhat common view of this episode, held by YouTuber and certified channel ally Serum, among others, is that the primary reveal of the episode undermines the primary message of Batman Beyond. While this interpretation is understandable, I've never felt this to be the case, since the episode ultimately acknowledges and celebrates Terry's individual strengths. I do, however, feel that said primary reveal is somewhat contrived, since it was never clearly foreshadowed in Batman Beyond. Luckily, this reveal leads to all of the episode's previously listed flawlessly executed virtues, meaning it was ultimately a valid idea. At the very least, it was a much more valid idea than Terry's girlfriend Dana's new look. I don't know if that haircut suits her, though I told her it did when she asked, so don't tell her I criticised it, because she'll think I lied to her. Which I did. Question Authority. Eccentric conspiracy theorist detective The Question uncovers details of a troubling potential future. In an episode that weaponizes the series' rich lore, provides measured levity, commendably characterizes The Question, admirably introspectively explores Superman's depth, and examines applicable, pertinent political and moral nuance. In a focused tale that briefly allows enticing hints of future plot points, introducing enormously organic, appropriately sinister jeopardy, piques viewer interest, and adds invaluable weight to proceedings. This episode also serves as one of very few portrayals of blue fedora and faceless flesh-like mask-wearing conspiracy theorist detectives who are in relationships with crossbow-wielding vigilantes that is both accurate and sympathetic. And about time too, because that's a very marginalised group. Minor issues such as key plot developments being initiated because of characters behaving illogically or uncharacteristically is one flaw that never eliminates the episode's brilliance, though does prevent it from ranking even higher. The greatest story never told. Time traveling fame seeker Booster Gold encounters unexpected danger while undertaking crowd control at a disaster scene while the more respected members of the Justice League are otherwise engaged. This rewarding and surprisingly insightful hero's journey is flavoured by consistent, unique humour, exhilarating peril, charming characterisation, and subversive storytelling that proudly communicates eternally vital messages of self-worth, bravery, and hidden depths. A faintly forced romantic angle is a minor shortcoming that prevents the episode receiving even higher praise. Though even this element is somewhat enjoyable, a more egregious sin is the title, The Greatest Story Never Told. That's not true. It was told in this very episode. These episode titles and their consistent lack of respect for the Trade Descriptions Act astound me. The list's midpoint has been reached, and therefore 3 episodes that failed to qualify for top 10 though deserve praise will be explored. I've chosen 3 episodes because I didn't choose 2 episodes, or 4, or 5, or even 6. I don't have the time to list every number that isn't 3. Actually, I probably do, but I won't. I've once again enlisted the help of DCAU aficionado and certified channel ally Serum Lake, who was mentioned earlier, meaning this video officially features more foreshadowing than the Batman Beyond related reveal in epilogue. I should write for the DCAU. Please let me write for the DCAU. Luke of Serum Lake will share his views on 3 episodes chosen by me, as he previously did in my Superman the Animated Series video. Fans of the DCAU are encouraged to consider watching that video or any on Luke's channel, while Luke is encouraged to begin his segment.
The first pick goes to Ultimatum. As a fan of the DC Universe, one of the things I like the most about the shows of the DC Animated Universe is the way they took the established versions of characters, focused on all the best stuff, and threw away anything that didn't work. The Justice League Unlimited episode Ultimatum is a great example of this. This is essentially their version of The Super Friends. You have to say it that way, by the way. In the episode, we are introduced to the Ultimen, a US government-sanctioned superhero team working under Max Lord and Amanda Waller. Of course, fans in the know would immediately recognise these characters as homages to the original heroes created for the Super Friends cartoon of the 1970s. With the government being involved, that means things are not what they seem. This episode is a loving tribute to one of the most famous superhero cartoons of all time, reuniting the entire Super Friends gang, except for Robin, sorry Dick, but blame the bat embargo, for an appropriately dark story that makes a significant contribution to the season-long story arc involving Project Cadmus. And I particularly enjoyed the standoff between Amanda Waller and Batman at the end of the episode, but I would have liked to have seen a little more of Long Shadow afterwards. Next we have Clash. Let me get this off my chest. Whether you call him Captain Marvel, Shazam, the Big Red Cheese, Super Ted, or the Captain, I'm sorry Brie Larson, but Billy Batson is the original Captain Marvel, and I really don't like the fact that we can't call him that anymore. So with that gripe out of the way, I want to say that I really enjoy this episode because the titular clash refers to a battle between Superman and his nearest rival, Captain Marvel. It also refers to the clash between the old-style comic book superheroes, as represented by Captain Marvel, with all his naive jinkies and gosh darn it's, and the more sophisticated, multi-layered, modern superhero storytelling, represented by Superman. We also get a rare glimpse at Superman acting irrationally out of jealousy and distrust of Lex Luthor. Luthor had been on something of a redemption arc ever since the end of the Justice Lord storyline, where he helped the Justice League defeat their alternate dimension fascist counterparts. But this episode shows that a leopard never changes their spots, even if they're bald. Stay with me now. And that delightful ending with a late-night clinking of champagne glasses between Lex Luthor and Amanda Waller unveiled another devious layer to the season-long Cadmus arc. All in all, a great episode. Finally, we have The Great Brain Robbery, or as I call it, Lex Luthor's Freaky Friday in space. During an attempt to track Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom using a spell performed by Dr. Fate, Lex Luthor and the Flash swap minds. This episode really allows Clancy Brown and Michael Rosenbaum to flex their acting chops, with the two mimicking each other's vocal inflections and mannerisms. This leaves the Flash trapped inside of the Legion of Doom's headquarters, holding off a mutiny led by Dr. Polaris, while Luthor finds himself trapped on the Justice League watchtower with all the powers of the Flash. And it's really interesting to see what a genius like Luthor is able to do with the Flash's powers, despite being unfamiliar with how to use them. Similarly, the Flash struggles to get by doing his best impression of an evil villain, and it's really quite funny. It's also worth noting that this is the second time that Michael Rosenbaum has played Lex Luthor, following his time on Smallville. All in all, a really fun episode.
Thanks, Luke. The official list will now commence with number 5, The Once and Future Thing. Green Lantern, Wonder Woman and Batman pursue a progressively villainous time traveller in a 2-part tale, providing distinctive characters, including Batman Beyond of Batman Beyond fame, an older, wiser, more experienced Static of Static Shock fame, Jonah Hex of Jonah Hex fame, and the futuristic Joker Gang, now with cybernetic enhancements, of futuristic Joker Gang, now with cybernetic enhancements fame. Explorative storytelling, pleasing fusion of authentically presented appealing genres, a colourful foe providing a direct, escalating, varied threat, clear communication and careful examination of time travel's complexities, and hats. Slightly fewer hats than there are heads, but only slightly fewer. Being a 2-part installment means it's less suitable for casual viewing, and while this is generally unproblematic, it becomes a slight flaw when compared to standalone episodes that do indeed offer casual viewing potential. Another issue is that slight time-travelling plot holes do emerge in spite of the story's general avoidance of the more obvious pitfalls, though this is an inevitability when exploring a notoriously challenging topic. Task Force X, otherwise known as Task Force 10 to ancient Romans, or Task Force Kiss to anyone reading the title in a text from a loved one. A variation of the Suicide Squad in all but name, consisting of Captain Boomerang, Clock King, Colonel Flag, Deadshot, and Plastique are tasked with infiltrating and stealing from Justice League's watchtower. Thanks to meticulous plotting, mature dialogue, diverse and clear characterization, sustained suspense, surprisingly sterling subversion of superhero conventions, thanks in part to enormously resourceful use of Martian Manhunter, and enormously credible threat due to a willingness to display more severe consequence than most contemporary animated children's shows. This episode expertly captures Justice League Unlimited's clearest assets, as well as the clearest assets of the heist movie subgenre. Deadshot's somewhat oversimplified portrayal is a disappointment considering his typical complexities, though this unabashedly evil persona somewhat services the story. Another flaw is the episode features a relatively blatant reference to my favourite Batman Beyond episode, which I didn't notice. That's somehow this show's fault. Oh, that argument won't hold up in court, will it? I'd better cancel that lawsuit. Fearful Symmetry. Accompanied by Green Arrow in the question, Supergirl investigates the source of her recent troubling nightmares in a compelling, structured mystery story rife with intense action, considered varied characterization, leading to entertaining dynamics, coordinated comedy, and an appropriate, though unexpected, resolution. A slight reliance on viewers being aware of events that took place in previous DCAU shows is a slight disadvantage, though in fairness, most of the important events that are key to understanding the episode are at least somewhat explained within the episode. Moments of obnoxiously misplaced, embarrassingly dated CGI are a much more egregious sin, though luckily these only appear very briefly. Flash and Substance. At the opening of the Flash Museum, Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold, Mirror Master, and the Trickster, to a much lesser extent in the last character's case, attempt to defeat Flash, who's accompanied by Batman and Orion in a humorous episode keenly observing and skillfully borrowing agreeable elements from the Adam West Batman series, immensely creative storytelling from Batman the Animated Series, particularly the episode Almost Got Him, and several strengths of Justice League Unlimited, including vivid characterization, tonal balance, and emotional resonance to convey a tale that, through consistent engagement, clearly and sincerely showcases the warmth, worth, humour and hopefulness of the Flash himself. Certain character actions feel slightly sudden, though even these are ultimately excusable in context. Seek out Flash and Substance if ever caught with the urge to find an episode about the Flash that, thanks to constant development and strong pacing, seems to go by in a fairly quick amount of time. This Little Piggy. in which Batman and Zatanna attempt to break a spell cast by the enchantress Cersei that transforms Wonder Woman into a pig. This adventurous, curly tale is embellished by endearingly colourful characters, casual, affectionate, informative exploration of the enthralling nature of Greek mythology, lavish celebration of classic Hollywood musical splendour, and uniquely enticing conflict, all of which are coherently combined thanks to strategic writing that justifies an atypical, joyfully, humorously absurd set of circumstances that are seasoned with sensitivity and intellect. A certain degree of bias led to this becoming my favourite episode. It happens to feature several ideas and characters I'm extremely interested in, to the point it effectively feels as if it's aimed at me specifically. So yeah, probably no point you watching it. The only faint criticism I'm able to muster is that a slight comic opportunity was missed for Wonder Woman to still be wearing her trademark tiara, even as a pig. Another faint criticism is that the episode isn't officially dedicated to me, at least not outside of the deluxe anniversary Blu-ray release, which is yet to exist. With the list concluded, the video soon shall follow. A final thanks will be issued to Serum Lake for his contributions, and an encouragement to leave your favourite Justice League Unlimited episodes in a comment below. Feel free to do the same for the Superman the Animated Series video actually, because I've realised I forgot to make that call to action. I will also issue a thanks to you viewers for watching, and if I don't see you next time, I'll assume that you've either been transformed into a pig by Cersei, or that I've still been unable to escape the sordid world of cage fighting with supercriminals, since Green Arrow and Black Canary are yet to help me. If I do become severely injured, come visit me in hospital. We'll play darts. The soft kind. Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in my eyes telling you